All right, as you can hear the bell dinging, it's 7 o'clock according to my cell phone. If you'll stand, we'll be led in prayer by Commissioner Tony Smith.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank Thee for another wonderful day. Lord, thank You so much for the rainfall that You furnished us today. Lord, bless the people that are sick and need Your guidance. Bless our troops that are fighting for our rights, our way of life. Bless this group of people as we're here tonight. Lord, give some guidance as we can work together as one team to accomplish what we need for the county so we can pull together. In my name we pray, amen.
All right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, the meeting will now officially be opened by Sheriff Austin Swing.
Hear ye, the Bedford County Board of Commissioners is now in session. The Honorable Mayor Chad Graham presiding.
Thank you. Be seated. All right, well, I see we've got a large crowd tonight. Thank you for coming and being a part and participating. Tonight's special call meeting regarding the budgets for the 23-24 fiscal year. I'll give you just a couple of highlights for the public. The departments and the commissioners here already have this information, but we do have a balanced budget before them tonight with no tax increase. It'll be low-income elderly tax relief in this budget request if passed, as well as SROs for all the schools with some help from the state of Tennessee on that funding. And we're encouraged by that. We'll continue our public safety investments in this budget. And this budget also allows for a revenue stream that would allow the expansion of the school at Liberty, which should be the last leg of the school system, being able to get all the kids out of portable classrooms, which would be huge, as well as a revenue stream that would set up for a new juvenile detention facility to be built at the Justice Complex. All right, now, Donna Thomas is not, the county clerk is not here tonight, so her deputy is here, Anne Marie Morton, and she'll do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
Commissioner Boutwell?
Here.
Commissioner Boyette?
Here.
Commissioner Brothers?
Here.
Commissioner Epperson?
Here.
Commissioner Farah?
Here.
Commissioner Hooker?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Maddox?
Here.
Commissioner Neely?
Here.
Commissioner Pinson?
Here.
Commissioner Sanders?
Here.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Adam Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Mark Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Commissioner Vick?
Here.
Commissioner Yockey? 18 present.
All right. First item on the agenda is the 22-23 budget amendments, which were just addressed by the Financial Management Committee prior to this meeting. It's listed here as one, but we can vote on them individually, whichever one would suit the body. Commissioner Anderson.
I wish y'all would indulge me for just a moment. I'm calling for this commission to split the budget into 4 votes: the school system, the sheriff's department, the highway department, and the general budget. According to the state of Tennessee, Charlie Curtis, this is 100% legal and it's been done other places. I cannot and will not vote for any budget that funds the Bedford County Partnership 1 cent to pay for any road for the Duxon Corporation. And the partnership has somehow become its own branch of government to me. If it is a nonprofit, we've already defunded the majority of them. Where is the oversight for the taxpayer? Checks and balances. Our brothers and sisters with the Shelbyville City Council have already defunded them. Backing the city here goes a long way, folks, towards solving some other issues we have, and it shows we're working together in the best interest for the taxpayers of the city of Shelbyville and Bedford County. During Project Cardinal, everything was a secret. We were misled believing that we were getting
All
a
right,
battery
Commissioner,
plant.
if you hold up just a second. Cardinal is not on the agenda tonight, so it's specific to it, and you'll have an opportunity to address that in your budget. So it needs to be relevant to what's on the agenda tonight. Cardinal is not.
Okay? I got you.
Go ahead.
What I'm asking to do is, if we do it this way, it's 100% legal to do it. That is, we can do it that way. And then we pass the school, we pass the sheriff, and then we just discuss the budget at that point. Would that be fair enough?
That is an option, and we never
Can I make a
disagreed
can I
that
make a
it
motion? Can I make a
couldn't be.
motion
Well,
that-
you're not there yet.
Okay,
We got to
gotcha.
get to the resolution where that's
I
in
understand.
play, and then
All
you
right.
could make that motion, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so are we ready? So now we're currently on the 2 budget amendments, the final two budget amendments for the current fiscal year 23-24. There's school budget amendment number 4, and there's Bedford County government budget amendment number 5.
Motion
Is
to
it
approve. Second.
both at the same time? You accept that, whoever made the second? Okay, so Scott Johnson and Drew Hooker. Okay, so now we're open for discussion regarding those two. Again, these were the final cleanups that we do every year.
So
Right.
just to clarify, that's the budget we're operating under now.
That's correct. This is the current budget that we're in, not the budget to come before you tonight, yes. And this is so the year ends correctly and there's no overbalance amounts. Commissioner Hooker.
Yeah, just a quick question. I know when we were in the finance meeting, Robert suggested that several of the funds that were moved over from federal funding were used for capital projects. Do we have a list of those projects that it was used for?
The detail, Robert is here, and if 10 of you or more agree for him to speak, we can do that. If you want to continue on, we can do that. So what's the wishes of the body? Raise your hand if you want Robert to speak. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got enough. So could you come to the podium and answer? You may need to re-ask the question. I'm not sure if you understood.
Yeah, just under the federal funding that we see on page 1, I think there was 678,000. What capital projects did that go to, or just what process we were going under?
Okay, that is school growth money that we get at the very end of the year. That's a 670-something thousand. What we were doing is we have some capital projects that we need to get in this year. If we make this amendment, we can do that, and that's with the school system. And it's some, Dr. Garrett's here, I think, so she might could give you details on that. But it's just a couple of projects. It's not the full amount. But we went ahead and budgeted the full amount because we received the money.
Would you like for Dr. Garrett to make a comment? Is that acceptable with the group as well? Okay, Dr. Garrett, please come to the.
Those included windows at Thomas. It also included a new fire alarm system at Eastside, as well as Community Middle. We had the money for 2 units on their gym. This gives us the ability to put 4 units on their gym.
Thank you for that.
Okay, you have any more questions, Commissioner Hooker? Okay, understanding we're voting, yeah, Commissioner Anderson.
So if we get the Liberty thing, do we have everybody out of portables in?
Dr. Garrett had issued a letter that believed that if the path stayed true, that we would be able to, with that, once that's done. Now, that's assuming 10,000 people don't move to Bedford next month. Right. But at the path that we're heading, is that acceptable for you? Okay. Any other questions? Everybody understands you're voting on both of the amendments at the same time? All right. When your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah,
Aye.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Yockey. 18. Does anyone wish to change your vote? 18 ayes, no nos.
All right, now, we're on to the first resolution of the night to do with the budgets for the next fiscal year. So let me read from here for you. Resolution number 24-1, that's a resolution fixing the tax levy in Bedford County, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2023, is to provide revenue for each of the following funds and otherwise conform to the following levies. The general fund, $1.43. Highway and Public Works, 0.09 cents. General purpose schools, 0.62 cents. General debt service, 0.15 cents. County capital projects, 0.0352, because the state uses 4 digits. All right. And for a total tax rate to be the same as last year and current year, $2.3252. Commissioner Yaki.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 24-1 with them bundled together at the tax rate of 2.3252 and to waive reading of the resolution.
All right, is there a second? Who was the second? Commissioner Beck. Okay, now we're open for discussion, and so, Commissioner Tony Smith. All right, so Commissioner, I'm sorry, you want him to go first? Okay, Commissioner.
I call for the question.
All right,
Second.
all right, got a call for the question. All right,
That the other commissioners should at least have a chance to speak a word.
okay. Okay, call for the question. Do you want to continue? You
Mr.
want a
Chairman.
question or you want to vote?
Yeah, I had my hand up for discussion. I was giving it to Commissioner Vick to, as a courtesy for him to discuss first, but he's calling the question. I'd wish to discuss.
Okay. Parliamentarian, you clarify for me question and one continue.
When the question is called, if successful, that ends debate and you go straight to vote. But this body, now that there's objection to the question, this body has to prove ending the vote by a 2/3 vote. So at this point, if the question is called, there's objection to voting now what a question does, then we need to have a vote on it.
Okay, do you understand? And then clarify, what I need you to do is vote yes or no to continue debate. Would that be correct, parliamentarian?
No.
You can vote it either way, but the better way is to vote yes means the call.
Okay, so yes would be the call for the question would stand, and no would be that you want to continue debate. The parliamentarian agrees with that. Do you understand? When your name's called, you'll be voting yes or no. Yes would be the question would stand, and no would be debate. Does everybody understand that part? Okay, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Yaki,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
No.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
No.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
No.
Commissioner Maddox,
No.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker,
No.
Commissioner Farah,
No.
Commissioner Epperson,
No.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
No.
Commissioner Anderson,
No.
uh-huh. 9-9, would anyone like to change?
The mayor has the option, but not the obligation, to break the tie.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. It takes 2/3.
Okay, so no one wished to change their vote, correct? So,
That story's up to you because you crafted it.
all right, thank you for your comments.
I'm not through, Mr. Chairman. After my speech back in April about accountability regarding this exact budget, I know I ruffled some feathers from folks in this room. The funny thing is, the guilty dog barks, and soon after that speech, it solidified that I was right. Regarding those that with ruffled feathers, the good news is I lost 0 sleep over that, and here we are with no
Okay.
tax increase.
Okay, now, your debate is supposed to be on the issue that's on the floor and not personal. Direct your comments to the chair, please.
It is, Mr. Chair, I'll
Direct it to
continue.
the chair, please.
For the record, I know that it takes money to operate county business. It's not free, and neither are the services. But based on our revenue sources, it should be affordable to all. And I also believe that we can do more, and we could even reduce taxes Mayor Carroll, just moments ago, and those folks at the city were able to reduce taxes for their people. Congratulations to them. Let's talk about priority of spending, and I'm going to get to a point, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, it needs to stay focused on the referendum that's in front of you.
There are things listed in this budget that are nice to haves, and I'm going to name just a couple. We've got a fire marshal. Do we really need it? There's $100,000 for Shelbyville Partnership Economic Development Fund. Do we really need it? Do we really need people making six figures on our county payroll? Do they need substantial raises while other people are struggling? Mr. Chairman, I'd say absolutely not. Some of you feel that these things are needed, but I've got people in my district that don't even have clean drinking water tonight. We need to get our priorities straight. I'm going to shorten this up a little bit. I'm going to get straight to the point. To the people of our county, I've spent hours looking through this budget, and I've honed in on several things, and I'm going to keep my eye on those things. And I promise you, there are going to be changes eventually. Right now, to get to my point, I have a proposal. For now, through research, I make a motion to amend resolution number 24-1, thus cutting the total property tax rate from 2.3252 to 2.1752 by
Point of order,
striking.
Mr. Chairman. He's out of order.
Correct. The motion on the floor is for the 232. Are you asking to amend the motion?
Yes.
Would the one that made the motion agree to an amendment of the motion?
No.
All right. So we'll have to have a vote on the amendment and to state forward for that. All right, you understand what we're saying? That amendment can't go forward when there's a motion on the floor. There's going to be one. So, I'm sorry? Not till we get this resolved about he's wanting to amend the motion. Am I correct? You're wanting to amend the motion? And you're wanting to amend the motion to be what number? Read that one more time. 2.17?
I want to amend the resolution number 24-1, cutting the tax rate for the people of Bedford County.
To what number, sir?
But I want to cut 15%. I want to cut the 15 cents, cut out the 15 cents property tax revenue.
What number? What's the total number, sir? What would the new tax rate be?
The new number would be 2.1752.
2.1752. All right, so there's a motion for an amendment to the mission, and is there a second to his?
Second.
Was that you? Yeah, so the motion for the amendment is, okay, and the second from Commissioner Hooker? Okay, all right. So, and you don't agree to that? All right, so we'll have to vote on the
Well, we're open for-
amended motion.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Aren't we
Yes,
now
please.
open for debate on that?
I don't know if you have debate before you vote. Okay, we can debate the amendment. So Commissioner Boutwell was first.
Okay, I would just like to make comment on our tax rate, our revenue stream. We're talking about property tax. I got some data from the Tennessee Comptroller's Office website, and I looked at our tax revenue, our property tax revenue, each year from 2007 to 2022. And I divide it by our population to come up with a per capita for property tax. In other words, that'll take into account our growing population. In 2007, our per capita property tax was $399. In 2022, it was $536, for an increase over.
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
No.
Commissioner Boyette,
No.
Commissioner Boutwell,
No.
Commissioner Anderson,
No.
would any, 14 ayes, 4 ayes, 14 noes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
Okay,
right.
the amendment fails. Okay, so we're back to the main motion. We had a motion and a second. So now, is there any further discussion before we vote on this? Yes, Commissioner Yaki.
Since I made the motion on a positive note, this budget is not perfect, but there are a lot of things in there, and things that will keep us going. so that we don't make mistakes that we've done in the past, such as the raises for the employees, so that we don't get in the fix that we were last year, raises for the teachers. But as an educator, the most historical part of all of this is the vote on what we can do for education. Every political speech I hear, every person that's running for office always brings up education and how well they want to do this and that. But this is our chance tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We have a chance to take our most problematic children, leave them close to home so that they can become educated. We have a chance to, with the SROs, provide security, not just for our students, which is primarily important, of course, but to also support our teachers. And then the third thing, which kind of looms in the shadow of my mind, the things that Mayor Ray worked for, our great superintendents of the past, Mike Bone, Ed Gray, Don Emery, and getting us to this point over many, many years, that we can finally say that we're out of these portables. And so with that, I keep my motion.
So the motion on the floor is motion is second to approve the resolution as presented, with the 232 being the total rate. Understanding that you're voting for general fund to be 1.43, highways 0.09, general purpose schools 0.62, general debt service 0.15, and county capital projects 0.0352. Are we ready to vote? Any other comments or questions? Yes is to adopt this. No would be not to. Understand?
Commissioner Yaki,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Farrer, Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? The vote stands.
All right. So Resolution 24-1 passes as presented. Next is Resolution 24-2, and that is a resolution making appropriations for the various funds, departments, institutions, offices, and agencies of the Bedford County, Tennessee for the year beginning July 1, 2023 and ending June 30th, 2024. What's the wishes of the body? I need a motion a second first, then I can do it.
Is this where I can call for the four-way vote, or do you need me to wait?
Well, we got to have a motion and a second for something first.
Move to approve.
Okay, now we got a motion and a second. That was Commissioner Vick and Commissioner Boutwell. Now we're open for discussion. Now, Commissioner Anderson.
Now, what I would like to do is just vote it four ways. Vote for the school system, sheriff's department, highway department, and then the general budget. Just four different votes. That's what I'm asking you to do.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, that would be amending the motion that's on the floor. Okay, so we're back to the same situation. We can debate the amendment. Now, let me make sure I'm understanding where we're going here. We just set the tax rates, okay? Now, this document just establishes where the funds lay. At the end of the very budget or last item on the agenda is the actual budgets, and that's where you'll vote, and these dollars will be inside there.
You want
So
me to wait till later?
I don't know. I want to be, I don't want
That's
to
a-
misrepresent the
County attorney.
situation for you.
Do I need to wait?
Right, the expenditure budgets, which is, because we've just gone into revenue, we're collecting the funds and laying them down, expending them out would be the budgets at the last. And there, you certainly could make the motion or what have you to unbundle them, where then they would be individually voted on. And if we do unbundle, then conflict of interest is invoked, okay? As long as they're bundled, there's no conflict of interest concerns for anyone here. If they do unbundle, though, at that time, we would have to. So are you willing to withdraw yours for now? Okay, so the motion on the floor is to move to approve the resolution in front of you as presented. Everybody understand that? We're open for discussion? Okay, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah, Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Yockey.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
All right, so resolution number 2 passes. Next resolution is 24-3, a resolution making appropriations to nonprofit charitable charitable organizations, Bedford County, Tennessee, for the fiscal year July 1, 2023 through ending June 30, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, now we have a motion and a second. We're open for discussion. Sylvia Pinson made the motion, and it was seconded by Commissioner Tony. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Commissioner Tony Smith, y'all's voice, you're throwing your voice. All right, so Commissioner Tony Smith made the motion. Did you second it, or did I dream that? Okay, so it was Sylvia that seconded it. Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Again, we're open for discussion, and we are dealing with resolution number 24-3. Is there any comments or questions? All right, hearing none, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Yockey,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah, Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
All right, next resolution on the agenda tonight is resolution to authorize payment and additional compensation for certain court clerks.
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Vick and Commissioner Yockey. All right, so we have a motion and a second on the floor. We're open for discussion. All right, hearing and seeing none, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah, Commissioner Hooker, Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Yockey.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
All right, thank you. Next resolution before us is 24-5. This is a resolution to provide for educational incentive payments for full-time elected officials of Bedford County government.
Make a motion to approve.
Mark Thomas and Commissioner Anderson. Yeah, so we're open for discussion. Commissioner Hooker?
Yeah, on this specific one, I know it does specify certified public administrator, but do the county employees get the same benefit? Because it looks like this is a $2,500 direct payment for schools, and I know that that's been a thing that sometimes we pay for county employees to get education and sometimes we don't. Is that something that's unilateral going to the county employees as well?
This is a state program. You've got to be full-time elected in my, yeah, it's for the elected only. Now, they can participate in the Certified Public Administrator program, and it may be something that a department would wish to have someone participate in, but they're not addressed or covered under this resolution. Does everybody understand that? Good question. All right, any other comments before you vote? All right, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Yockey,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah,
Aye.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
All right, next item is Resolution 24-6. That's the resolution making all federal grants to Bedford County in regard to education conform to the federal regulations of such grants.
Motion to approve.
So it was Commissioner Epperson and Commissioner Anderson? All right, so we have a motion second. We're open for discussion. All right, hearing none, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah,
Aye.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Yockey.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
All right, I believe the last resolution, but not the last action. Resolution number 24-7, that's to authorize the Bedford County Highway Department to perform work for all city, county governmental entities in Bedford County.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, we got Commissioner Epperson and then Commissioner Sylvia Pinson. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. We're open for discussion. All right, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Yockey,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah,
Aye.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson.
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
Okay, now we're ready for the point where we'll be talking about the 23-24 budgets. These are the expenditure budgets for all of the county operations, including highways and schools. It is currently bundled. That's what's in front of you. What's the wishes of the body?
Move to approve.
Where I was making the motion to do the four vote.
Okay,
4 times.
so your, Commissioner Anderson's motion is to unbundle them so that they would
Correct.
be voted on individually.
Absolutely.
Is there-
Thank you.
And there's second, Commissioner Epperson, right? Was that you? Yeah. All right. Now,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, we have a motion here to accept this budget. Is Commissioner Anderson's motion to amend this motion?
Correct.
Actually, well, your motion is to amend it?
My motion is to accept a budget here.
Okay.
You asked to accept the budget, and I moved to accept the budget, and I think I heard a second. And then if you recognize Commissioner Anderson, then he's asking to amend the budget. So which goes first? the
Right.
amended or
Actually,
the-
I called on Commissioner Anderson first, so therefore his would be the main motion. Now, if you would like to amend the motion, you can do that, because I have a motion and a second on the floor, Commissioner Anderson and Commissioner Epperson. So would you like to amend that motion? Currently, what's on the floor is to unbundle these to be voted on individually. Is that your motion, Commissioner Anderson? Is to
It's
unbundle?
my motion is to unbundle.
Yeah, so they could be voted on individually, each of those budgets.
Yes, sir.
And everyone understanding that invokes that if you have a conflict of interest, and that would be if it's pay or benefits, you or your spouse, okay? And we'll coach you along a little bit or ask you if you'll need to declare, if you will, if you're not going to vote, if you have a conflict, if you just say I have a conflict and I will not be voting, we need that on the record because it will change the number of votes required to pass the budgets. Do you understand what I'm saying now? And you're still staying with your second to his?
Sir?
Right, okay. All right. So does everybody understand what's on the floor and what's seconded? His motion and second would be to unbundle these, and then we would go through each one of these with a motion and a second to approve or not approve, and you would vote it up or down, and we'd move along. All right? Understand that? Everybody in agreement with what that means? Okay? So when your name's called, vote for or against, and this is to unbundle. No, but wait, because Commissioner Hooker has a question. Go ahead.
Do we have discussion time for this particular motion?
Yeah, you're doing it right now. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, I think it's extremely important that we do unbundle these because I know that we do the conflict of interest and those type things, but at the end of the day, you have a conflict whether you're voting for it as a whole or you have it individually. I understand what the state says, but what I'm saying is you're voting for increases or decreases based on whatever your vote is. And I think bundling it is important because I think there are individual things that we have the ability to talk to and talk directly about when we're able to unbundle it. When we're putting it together, I think it does make it very complicated because we do not have the ability to focus on specific things. And I think that there are some things that are in this budget that we do need to have some discussion on, and I think it's very important that we do unbundle it to be able to have those discussions. If we don't do that, then what we're saying is that each individual line item is really not important as long as tax rate doesn't adjust. And I think that is extremely important not to set that precedence. We should be able to talk about each individual line item if there are specific things that our constituents have reached out to us on, and I think it's important to be able to do this. While I understand conflict of interest is important, I think that the constituents' voice is more important.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Yeah, Commissioner Yaki.
I guess I'm just a little bit confused. So they're taking my motion and we're changing part of my original motion because I had it bundled?
The budgets were not, at the very beginning, that was the tax rate bundle. This is the budget expenditures. This is not the same resolution. We're now down to the expenditures. The front ones were where we were capturing the funds and then disclosing where the funds would go. That's what these resolutions were about. Now we're into the expenditure side of budgeting. And so each budget, county general, schools, all are in there bundled. And his motion is to unbundle them. So if you vote yes, his motion is to unbundle them. You'd be voting yes to unbundle them and vote on them individually. If you vote no, then we're back to the original document for a motion by someone to either approve that or not. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Okay, Commissioner Epperson.
I do understand, and I talked with Charlie Curtis today, and he said, like, the only way a commissioner who is any way employed by the county can vote on the budget is if it's not a composite budget. I mean, if it is a composite budget. So if the budget is divided, the commissioner/employee cannot vote on their own budget. They will be able to vote on
the other budgets.
The other budgets, correct. And he said that in 2016, they did away with the conflict of interest statement. That no longer exists, that the state had done away with that.
Correct. And that conflict of interest statement was where you read it and then you had the ability to vote your conscience. Now, if you have a conflict of interest, you cannot vote. What we just need you to tell us is that if you're not going to vote, you're not voting because you have a conflict, because that will allow us to then adjust what the majority is to pass. You'd only got to have 10 to pass because there's 18 of you. The membership would reduce by the number of people that were conflicted out. Do you agree with that, Mr. Parliamentarian? Okay. Commissioner Vick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have worked on this budget. It is not a month-long project. It's not two-week project. It is a 52-week project. A budget doesn't start day one. It continues on throughout the year. Those of us who attend the budget hearings understand where the items go. We understand, we debate, we continually question at all of our budget meetings how we arrive at this number. And our Finance Committee has worked on this for the last 6 months over and over, and since February, we've worked on this. Now, Mr. Chairman, we have already adopted the tax rate. We've already approved the resolutions for the various departments. We've already approved the appropriations for the nonprofits and the payment for compensation, all the education. We've done everything we've done. We've set the tax rate. We haven't raised the taxes. We've done all we're supposed to do. This is nothing more than finding a way to line item veto things in our budget, and it's not necessary, and we can't do it. We are prohibited from having a line item veto. So, Mr. Chairman, I am opposed to the amendment as we have it, and I think that it is a way to circumvent the process as opposed to voting this as one bundled package, as Commissioner Yaki suggested. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And you'll have your opportunity to state your position when we vote. Yes, sir, Commissioner Anderson.
I'd like to call the question, and also, when Charlie Curtis says we can do it, we can do it. So that is
There was no
legal.
question they could be unbundled. Yeah,
Okay.
nobody's been in question with that, or the conflict of interest. Correct. It's in other areas where we're trying to move stuff around that has a little bit fuzzy because of the 81 Act. Okay? All right. So the motion on the floor is to unbundle it. If you vote yes, you want to unbundle and vote on each individual budget in the group. If you vote no, then you are voting that you want to reconsider, well, not reconsider, we go back to the main resolution, which is then they are bundled. Does everybody understand that? Any other comments or questions before you vote? When your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
No.
Commissioner Boyette,
No.
Commissioner Brothers,
No.
Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah, Commissioner Hooker, Commissioner Johnson,
No.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson, Commissioner Sanders,
No.
Commissioner Smith,
No.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
No.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
No.
Commissioner Yaki.
No. No one stated that they were having a conflict.
You're not voting on them yet. You're voting on them, yeah, correct. If you unbundle them, you will. Currently, that wouldn't be in play. Thank you, though.
We have 8 ayes, 10 noes.
Okay, so it fails. So you're back to the original resolution in front of you. What's the, so Commissioner Vick?
Move to approve. Move to approve.
All right.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Boutwell, seconded. So we got a motion second on the floor for the resolution as it stands, and that is all the budgets are bundled. Does everybody understand that? Okay, any more comments or questions regarding that? Okay, if you vote yes, this would be to approve the resolution. No would be to not approve the resolution. Okay, when your name's called, vote for or against.
Commissioner Yaki,
Yes.
Commissioner Vick,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Yes.
Commissioner Mark Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Pinson,
Yes.
Commissioner Neely,
Yes.
Commissioner Maddox,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Hooker,
Yes.
Commissioner Farah, Commissioner Epperson,
Yes.
Commissioner Brothers,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyette,
Yes.
Commissioner Boutwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Anderson,
Yes.
18 ayes, no nos. Would anyone like to change their vote? Vote stands.
All right, nothing left but adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn? Yeah, we'll take a comment.
Would just like to say a big thank you to Representative Pat Marsh, Senator Shane Reeves, and Governor Lee for the new funding formula, TISA, for schools. Bedford County, we have a lot of needs, and those needs were recognized in the additional state funding we received, and that is for instruction. So I just want to give a big thank you to what the state has done for Bedford County.
Absolutely, and SROs, Commissioner Anderson.
All right, I want to thank, I don't know if Mark Clanton's here, but the fair's coming up. It's a big fair. Everybody, we want everybody to come out for it. We're working hard to fix facility. We had an issue. Mark comes right out. I also want to thank you, Mayor. We had an issue with a truck, and I was going to buy a pretty bad truck. I'm going to be honest with you. And the mayor called, and the mayor stepped in and said, "Now, wait a second." I said, "But we don't have the money." And the mayor, we worked together, and I want to thank Robert Daniel as well, because I thought we worked well on that truck together, and we needed the truck, and we got us a good one. And thank you for correcting me, sir.
All right, we're in this together, as I said to you. Thank you so much. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?